In the heart of the African savanna, beneath the sweeping branches of the ancient baobab trees, there was a village where the past and the present were forever intertwined. The elders spoke often of the ancestors, whose wisdom still echoed through the winds, the rivers, and the land itself. But for the youth, these stories seemed like distant legends, stories of kings, warriors, and healers, told around the fire but far from their daily lives. One day, a young woman named Amina, curious about the stories she had heard all her life, decided to seek the truth. Amina felt a deep connection to her heritage, but she didn't fully understand it. She knew of the great warriors her people once had, of the powerful queens who ruled with wisdom, and of the healers who communicated with the spirits. But there was something missing, something she needed to feel to truly understand who she was and where she came from. Her grandmother, Mama Esai, had often told her, to know yourself, you must first understand those who walked before you. The past is not gone, it lives in us, in our blood, in our bones. But Amina had always brushed these words aside, not fully grasping their meaning. One afternoon, while visiting Mama Esai's hut, Amina found a worn leather journal hidden among the old pots and ancestral artifacts. It was the journal of Chief Kwaku, her great-great-grandfather, who had been a warrior leader during the colonial era. The journal was filled with stories of battle, of unity among the tribes, of spiritual encounters, and of the ancestors' guidance. But what caught Amina's eye was a page that seemed out of place. It was a personal note, written in Chief Kwaku's hand. The true power of the warrior is not in the sword, but in the heart that beats with the pulse of the earth. The spirit of the ancestors lives in every drop of blood that runs through us, and it is through them that we find our strength. But to connect with them, we must remember their names and their deeds. Amina felt a shiver run down her spine. She didn't know it then, but that moment would change her life. The next day, Amina embarked on a journey to the ancient Ashanti kingdom, her ancestral homeland. She was guided by the stories passed down through generations, the wisdom of Mama Esai, and the ancient drum beats that had once summoned her ancestors to battle. She traveled through forests that whispered of warriors and queens, across rivers that carried the memories of those who had crossed them before. She was searching for something more than history, she was searching for connection. In the village where the elders gathered, Amina met a spiritual leader known as Nana Oma, a woman who had spent years studying the ancient ways of her people. Nana Oma took Amina to a sacred grove, where the trees were said to be the spirits of their ancestors. There, under the shade of an ancient baobab tree, Nana Oma spoke softly. Your ancestors are not lost. They are within you. All the wisdom they gained through hardship, through survival, through love, it flows through your veins. But to truly understand them, you must go within. Call upon them. Ask them for guidance. And remember their names. That night, Amina meditated under the stars, her mind reaching back through time to her ancestors. She felt a deep connection to them, a feeling of being part of something larger, something eternal. She remembered the names of those who had walked before her, Queen Yasantewa, the fearless warrior queen, Chief Kwaku, the leader who had fought for freedom, Nana Akua, the healer who had communed with the spirits. In that moment, Amina realized that their stories were not just stories, they were the foundation of her being. The next morning, Amina returned to the village with a renewed sense of purpose. She now understood that the past was not something distant, it was alive within her. Her ancestors' stories were not just legends, they were part of her identity, her strength, and her destiny. She took up the mantle of telling their stories, sharing their wisdom, and honoring their memory. Amina returned home with the journal of Chief Kwaku, but she now saw it not as a relic of the past, but as a guide to the future. She would pass it on to her children, just as it had been passed down to her. In doing so, she would ensure that the legacy of the ancestors would continue to guide her people for generations to come.